Hello and welcome back to the Transform You podcast. I'm Nelia.
I'm Paula.
And if you've listened to part one, you will know that we are doing our little interviews to each other. Paula is in the hot seat.
Why am I scared?
That was me. That was me an hour ago.
So weird, man.
I know, it's
like
weird.
That. Oh my God, what's happening?
I know.
Feeling very official.
I know. I think it is because we've also changed the setup.
Yeah.
There's a lot of change today.
I think because I don't know what's coming. Because we don't know the questions, I'm like, what the fuck is she going to ask
I've
me?
also got my little notepad too, so I'm like, oh, sorry guys. I'm like, hello Paula, welcome back to the Transform You podcast.
And it's
Today I'm going to ask you, who is Paula?
the thing, I actually know that you're not going to ask me anything that I don't know how to answer.
Yeah.
Like, why am I scared?
Why am I scared, Mom?
Do you know what? I'm excited. Fear and excitement are the same, aren't they? They show up the same in our brain scan.
Exactly.
So we're not nervous, we're excited.
We're ready.
I mean, I don't fucking shut up anyway. And everybody's heard me talk. So it's just like, Paula, mate, calm down.
But this episode is all about you.
Oh my God.
It's all about Polly Pops.
You by Paula.
You by Paula.
Oh,
I'm
right.
excited.
I'm excited. As long as they're fun questions.
There's no naughty questions for 20.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Maybe I will at the end. Who knows?
Aye, just for a laugh.
Just
for
for
the laughs,
Just
aye.
for some fun. I might ask that maybe the same question that might be some crossover.
Yeah, similar
Maybe a little
vibes.
crossover.
That's
just
fine.
so you get the same answers from, not the same answers, but you get
Different perspectives.
different perspectives from both of us.
Yes, gal.
Which I think is always good.
Fun.
Are you ready?
Just go for it. Just put me out my misery. Put me out my misery.
Okay, we'll go straight into it. So you asked me quite a similar question, to be fair, but I'm going to ask it in a more vague sense. What was the most significant turning point in your life? Because I think both of us have had points, or maybe several points in our life where we've gone, okay, need to do something about this, and we've had our old selves, and then we've gone through a healing journey.
Yep.
What do you think was a point where you started that, or that was the turning point for you?
Yeah. So mine's was an absolute horrific heartbreak. And people who know me will know that was the time in my life where I really changed. If you don't know sort of the backstory, I was with someone for 13 years. So, grew up together, lived together, like done everything together.
I know. And then your families and your friends, everything is like interlinked.
Yeah. So I was engaged, we had a flat, we had the dog. Basically, I was married, right?
Yeah.
Very, very young. So, I was engaged at 24, and then my life basically done a full 360. So I don't like to define myself by being like, oh, I was heartbroken, then I transformed. But that was 100% the point in my life where everything changed, because without that experience, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And it's so cliche saying that, but genuinely, me before that and me now, totally different people. Like night and day, can't even describe. So that genuinely was my pivotal moment, you could call it.
Yeah.
Again, similar to what you said, like you think at the time, I'm never going to get through this. This is
You really do, though.
awful. And that was what it was for me. For so long, I put all my love, all my confidence, all my faith and hope and everything into this one person and not me. If you know what I was like before, I had like zero confidence. I've spoken about this before. I had zero self-esteem. I basically had zero belief in myself. However, I had all this belief in others, and particularly that one person. And I think that's natural. Like when you grow up with someone, you think that's your person. You then visualize your life with that person. So when that goes, you're like, what the fuck? Like your whole future that you could see, the only thing that you felt comfortable with in your life is gone.
Yeah.
And it's literally like well, what the fuck am I going to do
You've
here?
only ever seen that one vision.
Genuinely.
And then that's
Yeah.
just gone, taken away. And you're like, fuck.
I remember thinking, I'll never get over this. And I remember saying that to so many people. I remember thinking that. I remember even writing it down, like, I'll never get over this. This is just going to be the rest of my life. You know, it's going to totally fuck me up. And then actually I actually had to decide, right, actually, is this going to define me? Is it going to actually just ruin everything? Am I going to, like, now not trust people? Or am I just going to feel negative about things? Or could this actually be, no, this might actually be the making of you? And yeah, that's actually what happened. So
yeah, I think because when you go through stuff like that, no matter how many times your girls tell you you're going to be fine, no matter how many times your family tells you
yeah,
you're going to get through it, you won't know until you make that decision yourself.
I think what it was for me was I had no one that could relate to what I was going through. And I think that's why I was such in victim mentality, and that's why it took me such a long time, because I thought, well, no one else has been with someone since we're 13 years old. So how would you know how it feels? And that used to be my sort of like mantra that I would almost say, like, most of my life has been with this person.
Yeah.
How do you know how that feels? Like,
You don't get it.
You don't get, no one's ever going to feel the way I've felt. You know, I'm so alone here. No one understands. All of that. I was stuck there for a long, long time, which is, you know, that's part of grief. And I don't think people speak about that enough. When you're going through something like that, it is grief.
It is grief. No, it really is.
It's because you're literally letting go of a life that you thought you were going to have, and it's dead and gone, and that's it, and there's nothing you can do about it, especially when it's got to that point where things have happened, that other person doesn't want to be with you. There's nothing you can do to change that.
It's called heartbreak for a reason.
And it's, I must say, like, it was, I'm so glad it happened, and genuinely it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But at the time, Jesus Christ, that's the worst I've ever felt in my life, ever. However, I think it's very healing, and it's good for people to go through. And I think most people are going to go through something like this at some point. If you don't, then, you know, you're quite lucky. But then if you flip the mindset, actually, maybe you're not, because do you really actually go and find yourself if you are just with that one person your whole life? Especially if you're the way that I was. I thought this person was just the shit.
The whole
you know,
world,
I would have done anything for him. It was like, never mind me. We want you to be successful. We're going to build you up, because I just think you are so fucking great.
Yeah.
And
if you're successful,
then I'm fine.
That's all that matters.
That's the way my life was, mate. Like, genuinely, which is hard to believe, because obviously now I'm so far the opposite from that. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll build people up. I'm so glad I still have that part of myself. And obviously that is a true reflection of my character, that I'll
but I think
help others succeed as well.
Yeah, you build people up.
Yes.
With the mentality of you build yourself up too.
Yeah, and that was the part that I was missing.
That's how you inspire people, is by you living your life and being so loving towards yourself and motivational, you know, with yourself. Yeah. And I think that's how you lift other people up now. It's not like, putting all your energy into other people. Yeah, it's you putting your energy into yourself, and then people see that. Yeah. And they get inspired by
it. That's the part that was missing. I think genuinely I forgot that I was a person. I forgot that I mattered, because it wasn't about me, it was about them.
Which like reflects in your brand name too.
Yes, exactly. Because it was like I had never focused on myself. And because I think, again, young love, that's maybe the first time in my life where I genuinely felt that unconditional love, as you would call it. Fair enough, you've got it with your family and blah blah blah, but it's totally different, because you're different with that person, and then you sort of change together. So you end up in about 6 or 7 different relationships going through all that. And I think during that, obviously I lost myself along the way, which, looking back on, I can see why, and I can see how it happened. I can see different points where I was making decisions based on other people and not me, and just constantly putting myself in the background. And I would say that's where I was comfortable being, in the background. I mean, look at me now, fuck's sake, Jesus Christ. But
main character energy.
Honestly, like, I was never the main character. Like, so
I know.
I genuinely think a lot of girls sadly do this though.
Oh,
they put their partner in a pedestal, and it's just, you don't matter because it's all about them. And unfortunately for me, guys have big egos and they are more selfish like that, and they probably don't realise that's what they were doing or that's what they've done. Or I wouldn't have thought anything until obviously now I reflect back. I'm like, fuck me. I would have just lived my life fucking in the shadows essentially, and not being true to myself and taking on a lot of other people's shit. So I actually had quite a normal upbringing, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really have any major issues as a child. Like, you know, you get some people as kids that have maybe got a bit of anxiety or eating disorders or whatever. Yeah, I never really had, if I recall, anything like that. But then I started to develop that. Naturally, you do as a teenager, but I was also surrounded by different opinions and different lifestyles that just weren't me. So that's how I think I got lost along the way. And I feel like now I've come back to who I truly am. Well, actually, a better version.
Do you think it's like changed the way that you approach even your relationship with William, or just your friendships and any relationship?
Yeah, I would say so, because when I was going through that, I would definitely say I became so much closer to all my friends. Again, I would have always put that relationship before anything, including my family. Yeah. So it would have just been that relationship's priority over everything. And then everything else would have came after that.
Like that, like pyramid triangle. Yeah.
Yep. And for me, then it was a great thing, because honestly, I've said this a million times, I would not have got through that without my friends and my family. And the relationships I developed with them were just so great. Like, I've got the best friendships someone could ask for. Genuinely, I think I'm so lucky with all the pals that I've got. Yeah. I genuinely could not speak highly of all of them. They're just the most amazing humans. Like, genuinely they are. Ever. And it's just, would I have got that bond with them? Probably not.
If you hadn't have gone through.
No, definitely.
Through the heartbreak.
And I feel like I became more appreciative of everything. Became more appreciative of my family who were there for me the whole time. You know, I went through the whole process of like having to sell a flat and blah, blah, blah. And at a young age like that, you're not really prepared for that shit. It's fucking hard, man. Like, people don't talk enough about. So I remember doing a therapy session, and it was talking about, you know, like, people's main challenges they'll face in life is like death, divorce, major struggles basically. And essentially what I was going through was a divorce without the papers, because everything else, you know, was there. And I was so fucking young. I was only 27.
Yeah.
You know, that's a baby still at that point. And obviously I never thought I'd be going through anything like that at that age. So that was genuinely, all of that stuff though has made me the person I am today, because I remember thinking, how the fuck am I going to get how am I going to get over this? How am I going to sell a house? I don't know where the fuck to start here. How are we going to split this? How are we going to do that?
You had a dog to get, like, everything was so complicated.
Yep, and no one warns you, or no one prepares you for that. Why are we not prepared for these life hardships? It's fucking
I know, they just teach us, have you done algebra? I have literally not done it since I was 14.
Honestly, not once in my life did I think I would ever go through that. And see, when I came out on the end of it, Jesus, like, wow.
She's a strong
You
woman.
are like, okay, I can handle anything that life throws at me. Actually, I'm a person who matters. I have a lot of fucking shit to offer.
Yes.
It's not about anyone else. It's about me. Like, I really need to just focus on and that's where it all kind of began. So I remember going through that, you know, it was all the shit. We won't even get into that, right? There was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
There was cheating. There was lies. There was blah, blah, blah. Whatever, right?
It was messy.
Yeah. So it was messy and it was long. And I would say that's both parties to blame in that, because none of us had ever went through anything like that. So it's like, how do you cut the cord? And that would be my advice. Fucking cut the cord. See, when it's done, it's done. Do not do what I done.
100%.
It was dragged out far too long. Like, that person was still in and out my life for over a year, in and out. Like, messy.
You can't move on.
You know, that's it. Even though I thought I was moving on, I thought I was doing it.
You can't.
I fucking wasn't. So if you're in that position, cut the cord. That is the one thing that I would change about that. As much as I'm like, yeah, you know what, it all happened for like, no. And I think people obviously did tell me that, but at the time I wasn't ready to listen. So it's easy for me saying this now.
Hearing it.
Because people would say to me as well, like, you'll get over it, like you said, you'll get over it, you'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. You know, you need to cut the cords, you need to cut them out. And I just really struggled to do that. Mm-hmm. But again, it's that emotional thing that you've got with that person. And yeah. So I would say that would be one piece of advice. If you are in that situation and it's still that.
I'm sure there are like
loads of people do it. Yeah, especially when there's like, you've got a dog.
Yeah.
The dog will be fine. Take it from me. The dog.
Fine. Trust me. Living the life of Riley over there.
Oh God. Like and also it was good for me in the end to then see all the things that I believed were going on and I was being gaslit, told they weren't. And I was actually talking to someone about this last night. People will do that. So people will make you believe that you're going crazy. People will make you believe that it's all in your head and, you know, you're the problem. Like, girl, you're the problem.
It's you.
Listen to your gut.
Yeah, because we've both been there where we're the crazy ones and it's off. But
do we have the tools to deal with it then? No.
But,
and I think that's it. Like, now I know. And again, this is where I then became a spiritual girly, because part of the whole healing thing was I made the decision to move out for a wee while, move back home, which was great because, again, if you're going through a breakup, surround yourself with your friends and your family. Do not isolate yourself. I tried to do that at the start and it doesn't get you anywhere. So making that decision,
your people.
Yes,
you need your people. You need the support.
That was the best thing for me because you know, you've got good people there, and then that's when I started. You know, obviously you look for things like how to get over heartbreak, how to do this, how to do that, and
Google.
You're trying anything at that point. And the thing that clicked for me was I started listening to Sinead Hegarty. That's when I found her, and she speaks about heartbreak a lot. Like, she talks a lot about relationships and emotional like healing and things like that. So that's why I started. So anything she done, I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this.
Paula is literally her number one fan.
Like,
Paula and Megan.
Big shout out. But genuinely, that I'm so grateful that I found that, because without that, fuck knows what was happened. And like I say, my friends, but it was mad because the universe is speaking to us at all the same time, because Jen was going through heartbreak. Sam was going through it. Alicia was going through. How mental is that?
I know.
And when does that happen? That's very rare that happens. So it was as if like, okay, all yous have found each other and yous need this. And it was like, so we all started doing things together. We started doing different activities like cold water therapy, yoga. And I've just remembered being like, fuck, I can do anything, man. Like, see if I can get into that cold water. I can do anything.
See if you can get into cold water January when it's
genuinely. I remember doing it,
especially when it's fucking windy,
and it would have been that time of year.
Oof.
Yep.
Let me tell you can do fucking anything. Anything.
Oh, and actually, I remember like a pivotal moment. Was it Jen and I, or was it me and Alicia? Anyway, we'd just done one of these cold water dips, and you know, like when you first start doing it, that high you get after it. We're literally driving back. We had Nicki Minaj blasting in the car. And I actually remember being like, what the fuck? Like, what am I up to? Why am I taking this shit? What is going on here? Like, why am I taking this shit? Why am I not listening to myself?
Paula, what are you doing, like, girl?
Paula, you can do fucking anything. Jesus Christ. And that was me. I got on my healing journey. I was doing everything, as it says in the book. I was journaling night and day. I was listening to meditations. I was listening to podcasts. I was reading the books on heartbreak. I was reading the books on healing.
She's got the library.
What I will say is that was a lot of work, and that was a full-time job dedicating my time to that. Isn't it?
It really is.
Aye.
And you do, you have to put the work in.
Yes, it's
like,
and
it's not a
I enjoyed it though.
A half-ass job. Like, you do have to put the work in.
I became obsessed with that. So I became obsessed with self-development, and I became obsessed with let's get better, let's get better, let's get better. And so that's like the question. I've obviously fucking went off in a mad story here, but just to obviously sum that up, that was why that was so pivotal, because that's why I'm here today, because I got so fucking obsessed with all this shit. Like, I remember just lying in my bed at night to be like, self-development, podcasts, writing things, and then sharing it with my pals. So you're sharing advice with each other, you're sharing tips with each other, you're all building each other up, and oh wow,
so good. Best
thing ever. So that is 100%. 28, feeling great. That's why I got 28 tattooed on me. 28 was my life-changing year. That was when fucking Sasha Fierce was out.
Oofed.
She was like reborn. It was like, oofed, who's this chick? Oof. And all of it, I've changed a lot since then as well. So it's like a continual path, but fuck me.
I know.
Love it.
Here she comes.
So good. So, girlies, here I am at the other end of it. See if you are going through heartbreak. Trust me. Make it your life's mission to come out better. Make it your life's mission to use it as a time to focus on you, because it might be the only time that you get to focus on you.
Yes.
So that's another important lesson there. That was literally the only time in my life that was alone. And I was like, okay, let's just put 100% effort into this.
Focus on Paula.
And oofed.
And look what happened.
What a time to be alive that was. And yeah, that was a special time. And sometimes I actually look back at that point and try and figure out, right, what was she up to then? What was 28-year-old Paula doing? And I try and look at her for inspo sometimes, because you know what I mean?
You do have to reflect. Look, I'm the same. I do have to reflect on like the past few years and like our healing journeys and stuff, and where I was when I first started. And I'm like, oh, okay, I've come a long way. And like, and sometimes I even have to tap into things I was doing back then and go back to it, because I'm like, oh, hold on.
She knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing. I need to go back to that, because I've you know, I've slipped a little bit, and I've lost, you know, I've gone down.
And that will happen.
You know, I've gone down this path, and I need to come back. You know, and you have to constantly, it's a constant job of reflecting.
Yeah.
And just keeping on top of it. But it is so good.
This is why journals are so fantastic.
Oh, she's back on the journals.
She's back on the journals.
Ding,
but
ding, ding.
I will go back to those old journals. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. It's how good is it though when you read an old journal and you're like, what? Because
you forget stuff. Yeah. So when I pick them up, it's things that I might have forgotten about. Like the first time I went on a solo holiday, or the first time that I went to an event myself, or the first time that I spoke to another boy. You've got all that there, because I never thought I would do any of that.
Stuff. I actually read it the other, like 2 months ago. It was my journal, but it was my like New Year's resolution, New Year's list. Like when I was in Thailand, and I spent New Year's Eve by myself in a hotel in Phuket. It was very cathartic. It was very cathartic New Year's Eve. And I wrote down everything I wanted to do, and I was like, hold on, I didn't do it that year, but since then
I've done it all.
I've done that.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's like some of it was like come out, like huge things.
Yeah.
And then some of it was like, you know, just
stuff maybe you don't even believe anymore as well.
Literally go to a new club, like by yourself. What did I do? Went to Self Love Club, you know, do all these things. And it was, I just went down, I was like, I have done all of those things. But I remember thinking back to it like that year, being like, oh, well, fuck, I've not done any of that. What a failure. But then looking back at it now, I'm like,
like, there she goes. How amazing though.
But it's so good to write everything down and you have it. Because we can't store everything in here in your little brain all the time. Doesn't work.
And it just actually weighs you down. So
anyway,
get it out, girls.
Go on to our next question, which actually leading from Sinead, your number one girly. Fangirl. Who do you think has had the most profound impact on your life? This person can be like a celebrity, a podcaster, or it can be a family friend, a family member, sorry, friend, stranger?
I think to narrow it down to one person would be so difficult for me because I'm such
Give us a few.
a few. So I would say my sisters, which they might be shocked to hear, because they have always they never had the same journey that I had. They've always kind of been their own person. And, you know, Carla's like very confident and headstrong, and she's just always sort of knew, okay, this is the direction I'm going, and I'm going to fucking do it. Like, you know, has achieved everything she's ever set out to do. She's done it without all the shit that I've had to do. Like, naturally, that's just come to her. Like, whereas I, you know, had to put in the work, like, I need to heal and, you know, I need to learn who I am and blah, blah, blah. So for me, that's so inspirational. And having my sisters during that time in my life as well was just, see, if you've not got sisters, like, sisters are just the best. Like, I couldn't live without my sisters.
I know.
Like,
I genuinely couldn't live without my sister. I don't know how people do life without a sister.
Especially,
I don't know how they do it.
How different you can be throughout life. So anyway, and then my younger sister, Lauren, as well, is just always like a pure fucking free spirit. And I just love that. So I think I've took a wee bit of inspo from both of them without them even realising, because, you know, like Carla, it's just like headstrong, we're on it.
Lauren also like pure knows who she is.
Exactly.
She knows
and she owns
who she is.
it. Like she has been.
She gives no fucks about it.
She's just always, like I say, a free spirit's the best way to describe her. See if she wants to do something, she'll just go and do it. And it's great.
No apologies for it.
No.
It's just she is who she is.
And I feel like now I'm a wee bit
so is Carla,
both of
like,
it. Exactly.
Like all three of you are. And like you're so different, but
similar.
So similar.
Growing up though, because I was very much in that relationship and that person at that point, I would have been less of a free spirit and obviously less of a achiever and less confident, and but I think that's obviously a credit to my family as well, because we all now we can be comfortable in just being like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to set out to achieve, and you know you've got people there to support you. So I would say that. And then my gal pals, of course,
girlies.
It needs to be, because when I just look at how much all of them have transformed and where they are now compared to, you know, what they were like before. And I could single ones out, but
we are going to get one of them on the podcast. And I cannot fucking wait.
Yeah, like,
because
actually,
that is
so
it's going to be so good.
Great.
Because the transformation.
Yeah. And I think for where I am in my life just now, having people in my life like Stacey, who has been someone who's just been like, fucking go for it, like be fearless and kind of pull you out of that like fear mindset. I would have been stuck there. So I feel like there's a lot of gratitude towards having people like her in my life who, so there's just so many. There's so many, because then I could say that about multiple other people who I'm surrounded by, like yourself. And so that's a tough one for me to answer in terms of that, but I hope that's answered it as much. Oh, and actually myself.
Oh my god, that's the best answer ever.
Thank you.
You 100%.
Like, I actually feel proud of who I am, like, and I love who I am, and I genuinely feel proud of who I was before, the person that I'm becoming. So myself as well, man. Why not?
You found Paula. Oh my god, that's so good.
Thank you.
That makes me happy. That leads me on to, when do you feel most inspired, or actually, rewind. What's it say? Okay, it's fine.
Like, don't break on us.
When do you feel most inspired, and what is inspiring you in life right now?
I feel inspired when the weather's like this.
Yeah.
When it's fucking
we were literally just sat outside having a cup of tea before this. I just
genuinely like
didn't want to come back in.
No, and on a serious note, I feel inspired when I see the change that you can make in people's life by just being you and offering what it is that you can offer to the world. See, when you then get feedback from that, it's just amazing. And that is one of my biggest whys in life, because of who I was before and where I am now is just so fucking worlds apart. And getting over everything that I've gotten through. I just want to show other people their inner strength. Like, that is my why. People shouldn't be living their life in a shadow as a shell of who they could be. You don't want to get to 40, 50, 60, whatever age, and be like, I should have lived my life. So that's my big why. I just want to help people find their wee bit of inner strength, find who they are, embrace themselves, just find the courage to just go, do you know what, fuck it, we live in a floating rock and I've got one chance here. I just need to live my life the way that I want, and I need to be true to myself. That is what inspires me when I get that wee glimmer from people who I'm helping, or I've done something that has, you know, someone will go, see, when you said that, it really got a light bulb in my head, because that's what it was for me. I was listening to all these people and it was just light bulb central, and I'll give you a couple of like other pivotal moments, as we call it. I was so inspired when I listened to Mo Gauda, and we spoke about him when I was doing your re-interview. I remember I was in the airport in Fuerteventura coming home from my first solo holiday. So already I was like, oh, this is great. Look what I've done. I never thought I'd ever be able to do this. And I'm sitting there. And obviously then at that point I was still really sad. But it was like, you know, putting on the mask, and we're still fighting through it. But I was in that stage of like, sort of like denial and grief, like thinking, oh, what's actually happening here? And again, maybe that point of thinking, oh God, when am I going to get over this?
Yeah.
And he's obviously sharing his story about how his son passed away and how actually he now wants to help make others happy because that's his mission. And so just listen to his words and listen to how he speaks about his ex-wife. You know, he still speaks very highly of her, and still, you know, they're still best really friends. And I just thought, that's fucking amazing. Like, why? That's how you'll never hear me say anything negative about my ex. You'll never hear me say anything negative about what happened, because why would I ever hold on to resentment? Why would I ever hold on to any of that stuff when it's just going to make me feel worse? And at that point, I remember I was sitting outside. There was a wee sitting outside bit of the airport, and I was listening to that. And I was like, oh my God, like, I actually can just be happy. I can be fine. I don't need to be bitter, because I remember like people saying to me like, you should be raging, you should be this, you should be that, do this, do that. And it was just all this negativity. And I get it, right? Because they're kind of trying to protect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, no, this is fucking inspiring. Like, a wee bit of love, a wee bit of kindness goes a long way. And listening to that was like a ping light bulb moment for me. And I was just like, oh, I'm obsessed with this guy. I need to listen more to this guy. And then I read his books, and it's Solve for Happy, and that little voice in your head. And that's when I really started getting into like challenging those negative thoughts, changing the perspective and things, and literally just programming my brain to be happy instead of programming it to just look for negativity. And again, it's a journey. I'm not saying that it's 100% perfect. No one is.
We
but
both still have those.
Yeah,
days
like,
those
so I would say that
weeks.
he's obviously inspirational to me.
Definitely.
And again, like podcasts that I would listen to, other girls, like then actually finding other people who had been through this. So there's this girl who's called Kiki Fit on Instagram. That's her, but I can't actually remember her full name. And I found her one day, and it was just one of those things. How did I come across that? I can't remember. Anyway, and she had the exact same situation as me. She'd been with someone that long.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, you'll be fine, And I just needed to find somebody who I was like, okay, they've done it, so I can do it. So I would say that pure inspired me as well. Like,
that is one of the best things to do, though, when you are feeling like you do go into a victim mentality sometimes, because
of course,
I'm the only one going through this.
No one
especially
gets me.
Like with you and your situation.
Yeah,
you were the only one within your friendship group.
Yeah,
that had been with someone for that long. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So you're
crazy.
Like, no one gets it.
Yeah, like
stop trying to comfort me. You don't understand. You'll never understand.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
So
you need to find someone that gets it. That was me with all my health problems. I was like, literally no one understands me. So just fuck off. Like, stop trying to, like, don't comfort me. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. You don't understand.
Yeah.
And I will say I was quite horrible to some of my family, because it was like, just fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't get it. Do you know what I mean?
But
And
that's
they're
you
just
going
trying to love
through the
you.
grief stage, and you know you're bitter and you're angry, and it's
very bitter. And
but then you go and find people like this, and then
it's the best thing to
the
do.
same
You
as
find
you,
people because
who can inspire you.
We live in, like, how many people are on this planet?
Yeah.
And social media, that's the best part of social media, that people can share that part of their lives. Amazing. And like share inspiring stories.
Yep.
You can find people that have been through the exact same thing as you.
Literally.
Like the exact same. I remember even just when it was Lady Gaga and Selena Gomez. So Selena Gomez came out and said that she had lupus. And I was like, oh, that's what they're investigating me for.
Yeah.
Like,
you start digging, like, what's going on with her? And
then Lady Gaga, she posted on her Instagram her in a infrared sauna, and the paragraph was all about fibromyalgia and how it came from trauma and all this. And I was like, she can do all of this stuff.
She's a superstar.
And she still has to do all that recovery and rehab, but like, she can do it.
Yeah.
Like, she's got one of the things that oh my God.
Honest to God, yep.
Get out, like, get a fucking grip.
No, it is. You're actually just like, what's happening here?
And so it's like when you're listening to Mo Gauza, you're like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
There was another moment.
Like, you sometimes need that just to be like, get a grip.
It just shows you though how powerful these moments were, because the memories that you store obviously have some sort of like emotional meaning. So for that, I remember exactly where I was, what I was wearing, what I was doing, who was a bit, do you know that way? I remember.
Yeah.
And I remember this other time, and the girls, if they're listening to this, will laugh, because I was walking down the canal, and that's when I was still a support worker. So I was pushing one of the wee girls in the wheelchair, and I had one headphone in because I was listening to, I was actually listening to this girl, and it's called Cancer with Gratitude. Sadly, she's passed away now. But basically her whole thing was sharing. She was one of the girls in Belfast where the cervical screening samples got mixed up, and basically she got told, you're fine, but actually then she wasn't. So unfortunately then she had, like, it's such a short time to live. But then she was like, she made it her mission to just live as much as she could, because she had 2 wee girls. I was listening to this and I was so inspired. And she really spoke about the magic, and I've spoken about this before. So then also that was like, okay, I'm going to go and buy that. So I was out this walk and I was just listening. And again, it was one of the light bulb moments. And I remember, like, I just had the voice note the girls. Yeah. It was like a podcast. Yeah. And I was just like, lassies, I am going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my life. And I'm just feeling like this is a great time in my life. And I'm realising all these things, and I'm realising this. And do you know what I mean? It was like that, like, oh my God, I'm realising so many things right now. And oh my God, I just need to share it with you.
You get those moments though, and you're like, I need to tell you right now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just, it's so good. And it makes me excited. Wow.
Yeah, it's so buzzing.
And you kind of forget about those moments till you're having these sort of conversations.
Love it.
Fuck, they were.
How do you define success?
Oh, okay. So I would say this has changed recently. I would say for a while, for me, success would have been, being the best that you can be, as in like achievements. Yeah. So I would have maybe defined success as, I was going for higher jobs, more money. I was, air quotations, succeeding in climbing ladders and earning X amount of money. There was a period at the time that I did think that was going to, that was success to me. I suppose
would make you happy.
Yeah, and that was obviously off the back of like transforming myself. So maybe that was me thinking, okay, well, I can, I've done everything, so let's just keep proving myself. So it's like, try to prove that point. But I would say success for me now is being content in everyday life. So waking up every day and just realising how good you've got it. That to me is real success. Real success to me is having relationships in your life that you just feel so safe in, so comfortable in, so connected to. And William, if he's listening to this, he'll be like, get away. But genuinely, like, for me, to be in a relationship like I'm in now is just unbelievable, because I just feel like I'm 100% myself, and I can be 100% myself, and so can he. And he's just like my best buddy. And I know everybody says that, but genuinely, like, we have, and that to me is success. It's just that, you know, being yourself, being comfortable with people. And like that with my relationships in my life, you know, with my family, with my friends. And that to me is success. Being able to just wake up every day and feel grateful and feel content with just simplicity. Simplicity is success. Being happy with simplicity is success.
Oh, love it. I love it. Right,
oh,
honey.
Wow.
Here we go. What is a word of wisdom? What's a word of wisdom for your old self?
Oh my God.
If you've only just started listening to the podcast, what's a word of wisdom, by the way?
Yeah.
But we just say wisdom.
Wisdom. If you know, you know.
God. Ay.
I feel like this whole podcast episode has been me speaking to my younger self, but
that's cute.
Let's just say a word of wisdom. Oh God, how to sum it up?
It's hard. It's hard. You asked me the same thing.
And it's just like, I'm just trying to visualize. So obviously you've heard me talk, right? I don't need to go into all that shit again. But what I would say, I'm just visualizing myself writing this down in a diary, right? So I would say, dear Paula, trust yourself. You matter. You are enough exactly as you are. Don't forget that you actually are a human being who has emotions, you have skills, you have qualities to share with the world. Like, stop putting everything into other people. Put shit into yourself and good shit will happen. Like, think about how good your life will be if you actually start focusing on yourself. And when you focus on yourself and do all that stuff, you know, you fill yourself up, you become better, you become stronger. You can then share that with others, because you're already a kind person, loving, supportive, but you just forget to give that to yourself. So start to give that to yourself, hen. You can then share it with others, but also while getting it back for yourself, because you matter.
Oh, so good.
It's nice. I feel like
it is the best thing ever, though, when you're able to.
It is. It's actually realising that you do matter. Like, and I think that's what it was. I just felt like I didn't. And without that sounding like pure me, it's just because I just thought everybody else's needs were more important than mine.
100%.
And I think that's just a habit you get into. And again, growing up the way that we grow up in society, especially back in the day, you know, typically women would have been the ones, you know, you hold it together. Yeah. You're the one who you look after people. And I think naturally I'm quite an empathetic, nurturing sort of person, which is why in the past I've went into those sort of roles. You know, I've done nursing, I've done caring, and I thrive in those environments. I love to help people. But it's just that learning to divert some of that back to yourself. But I would have grown up, you know, I lived with my granny as well growing up, and, you know, watching that old school mentality of, you know, making sure the guy's dinner is ready, and it's all that. You don't realise that's all sort of instilled into you, but I think obviously that was instilled into me, like, and it's nobody's fault. It's just, I would have thought that was admirable, and I think it is, as long as it's done right. You know, never stop supporting others, but that's it. Like, as long as you're getting that back, and the relationship that I'm in now is just so two-sided like that. Like, it's just so, it's, you give and you receive, and they give and receive, and it's just a lovely balance.
Previously you've
This is actually a word of wisdom. If you are someone who's like that as well, givers will keep on giving and takers will keep on taking. That, I remember writing that one day and being like, oh, wow. Like, and it's so fucking true. There's a really nice wee book called The Go-Giver, and it is about the positive impact that giving can have on your life. But I just don't forget that takers will just take, and without realising actually the consequences of it.
And we've been surrounded by them far too many times in our life.
Yeah, but what I would say is I don't feel bad about that. I feel actually,
same.
I think that says a lot about your character. I think it says a lot about who you actually are as a person, and what a good heart that you've got if you're that sort of person. And I would never change that part of myself. Like, I'm actually really proud of that part of myself. Like I like the fact that I'm like that as a person. Whereas there was a point where I started to go really negative about that. I was like,
So,
you know
I
when
was
you're
just
going
about to
into
say
like
that.
avoidant mode?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this, I'm going to be hard as nails and I'm going to, you know, never give anyone that love again. And I'm never going to be that way. Why? Why would you want to lose that part of yourself? Like, don't change who you are because of shit circumstances. Like, be true to who you are. And just always know, as long as you're doing something for a good place, then you're going to be all right.
Yeah. I did the same. Like I pure went like angry and right, I'm going to be so cutthroat and fuck it. And everyone's telling me I should be angry about this situation and whatever and be angry at the world. But see, studying yoga and actually seeing it written down and like the yogic values.
The yoga philosophies are just
you're just
beautiful.
like, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, actually, what I've been doing this whole time, I should not feel guilty for.
No.
I just need to find a balance.
Yeah.
Like, life is about balance.
Of course.
And that's what, like, I have been doing amazing things my whole life. And me giving is, I will receive it.
Yeah.
But I need to give in the right places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I was just surrounding myself with the wrong people, you know? And we've both been there.
And that's it. It's like lessons learned and you know what you don't want in the future and you know who you don't want to be around in the future and you just learn actually, God, I was never that person as much as you might have been shown up as that person. Like you weren't ever that person. It was just circumstantial.
See what happens though when you go through that healing journey and when you start this process is you will start distancing yourself, even subconsciously distancing yourself from certain people, and then you will meet new people and go into these new little groups and, you know, bonding with new people. It's like you and the girls and
it's funny.
It's that you will then find people that are also givers and you just surround yourself and that you will receive so much. So much.
Yep, 100%.
And it's very special. It's so good.
It is.
Then you start a podcast with someone.
Yeah, exactly. Who you didn't know. Like it's
I know.
just,
but like it is, you then find your people of like, oh, hold on, there's other people that think the same way as me and do the same things as me.
Aye.
And actually, I shouldn't feel guilty for all the stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. And especially if you were surrounded by people who were just so fucking opposite from you for such a long time.
Yeah. You're surrounded by
like,
takers,
wow,
constant.
Aye.
And you were just given into this never-ending pot of take. And then you distance yourself from that. You surround yourself with people that have the same values as you and you're giving and then people give it and you're like, whoa, hold on.
And the thing is,
happening?
It's not as if those people, so the people from my past, I'm not saying that they're bad people and I genuinely don't believe that they are bad people. They just weren't the right people for me. And it's the same with you. Like, I believe everyone is just on their own way life path. And one person goes that way, one person goes another, but then you don't know who you're going to meet along the way. And you've still not met some of your best friends. You've still not met some of the people who are going to have a profound impact. And that's just a lovely thought to hold on to. And you read about this.
I just think like
it's
you
just
can't
so nice.
Don't hold resentment. It's just not, not worth it.
There's such a good practice. So this is a wee tip, right? So if, you know, you've ever done a wee bit of reading into like Buddhism and things like that, obviously yoga kind of intertwines with it at points, but one of the sort of Buddhist traditions is loving kindness meditation. I think we might have mentioned this before.
I think so.
And actually I just finished that meditation course the other night, that one that we done. So I finished that and I've got my wee certificate now for more meditation training, which is great.
Stunning.
So a big part of that, there's a module and it is about the loving kindness meditation. And it's a simple thing that you can do. And it's hard at first. So see if you're still in that bitter place, the resentful place, the angry place, it's difficult to do this section of it, right? So there's a section of it and it's like you think about someone who, you know, you've just got bad vibes with. You think about someone who you're like, I don't really like them or fuck them. Like someone you're in a bad place with. And when you're meditating, you send love, kindness, nice thoughts to them. And when I started doing this, I literally remember people like to me, you're nuts. Like, why would you want to send love to people who are, you know, like are arseholes? Why? And I'm like, Because actually you feel fucking great. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it because I feel fucking amazing. If they get good vibes, fine, but I'm feeling great for this. And I really tapped into that back then. That was something that I used to do every day. I would send love. So first of all, you send love to yourself. You send love to your family, your friends, loved ones. You send love to like a random person. So you maybe like think about the wee woman who serves you in Tesco. You send a wee bit of love and kindness to her. And then once you get good at really that, deep. You can start by see all the people who you're like, I fucking hate them, or you're holding resentment. You can then start to bring them into it. But wait till you start to feel comfortable with it first. Mate, fucking freeing.
It's so freeing because you hear all these stories of like people that have had their, like a mother that's had their child murdered, like something really deep, and they forgive the criminal. Like, and it's not for that person. It's not for the person that has done the crime. It's just for their own life. You know, forgiveness is so powerful.
Oh, it is. And it's
sending love to them, so powerful.
And this society, we don't speak about it.
It gives you freedom. And it gives that person freedom to go on, live their life for their loved one.
Yep.
You know, and just, and people think, no, that's crazy. Why would? But you can either choose to forgive, send love, and then live a life in that person's memory, if that's the case, or live a life of bitterness, resentment, hatred, every day, constant. You know, you're still going to think of, so for a mother forgiving, you know, in that situation, you're still going to think about that child every single day for the rest of your life. However, you could think about your child with like all this negativity the rest of your life, or the other way.
Yeah.
And when you hear, like I've seen like documentaries on it and interviews and different parents or different partners, and it's when you, it really is so inspiring. It's so freeing.
And like you say, there's plenty of stories out there like it.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
I get that it's for people. If you aren't there yet, you'll be like, how?
Because I used to watch stuff like that and be like, no, that's like, there's fucking no way crazy. Absolutely not. But it's very special.
It is, and it's definitely worth doing if you're at a point in that, like in your life. Wow, I'm just like thinking about stuff, and like you say about all those stories and all the things that we've kept up. Like we actually won't even remember how many of these stories we've come across, and it's just.
There's a Thai saying that my family will be fucking sick of me saying, because every time they're like mum or dad or Anna gets like hyped up, like a bit amped up about something, or gets a bit angry about something, I always say it, because the Thais, as we know, happiest people on the planet.
Yes.
And they'll just say, Mai pen rai ka, like, Mai pen rai, which just basically just means, don't worry about it. Like, no big deal. Everything's fine. No big deal. So if something major happens, they'll just be like, Mai pen rai ka. Like, and it's something little happens, Mai pen rai. Like, they'll they'll say it with a big smile on their face all the time. And that's like the biggest thing I've taken back from Thailand. Is that. And I will say it all the time. So if mum has a really stressful day at work, because she works from home, and she'll come down and she'll be like ranting, and I know that sometimes she does need to rant, but then I'll stop her and be like, Mai pen rai, and then she's like,
you rant for a certain period of time, but if it's going on, then you need to be like, right.
I just constantly, and like, I'll sit in traffic and you want to be angry, and then you're like, Mai pen rai. But it's not a big deal. Like,
I actually love that.
Actually, what's the big Mai pen rai? But I'll constantly say
that is the power of perspective as well. And there's a lot of neuroscience in this. So there's actually something that I was reading the other day, and it was some neuroscience journal, and it was about that. So it was about, we all have similar experiences. So for example, if I spill this cup of juice right now, I might be like, it's fine. Whereas you could react completely differently. And that's a simple situation, but it's the same where if someone bumps into the back of someone in their car, right? People get fucking angry behind, and when they're in cars, right? Yeah. Some people might be like, it's fine, you know, nobody got hurt. Whereas someone might come out guns blazing. Yeah. It's the same situation you are both in, but someone's perspective is anger, and someone else's perspective is, it's not a big deal.
It's happened.
It is what it is.
Move on. Yeah.
And that's, you can actually teach yourself. And I think that's what both of us have done. So I've taught myself now to just always see the two sides and always change your perspective on something. You can change your perspective on everything. And this sounds crazy, but even when it comes to death, so a big loss for me was my granddad. And this is something me and my sisters used to say all the time, like, oh, that'll be the hardest one. And it was, and, you know, because I just thought he was the best guy ever. And he just went too soon in our eyes. But I feel like that's always going to happen. But now I can look at that in a different light. So perspective, when that first happened, it was, this is so unfair. Oh my God, why is this happening? And now actually perspective is, he lived a fucking great life. And do you know what? See, in the end, it was quick for him. And he would have liked that. So I could, you know, that way I could sit and go like, oh God, why did that happen to him? You know, he was such a fit guy. And but actually it's like, well, no, actually, because that's exactly how it should have happened for him. And just changing that perspective makes you see actually the positive. And
I think when it's such a, death is such a,
it's a difficult one,
difficult subject, and when you learn to flip your perspective on it, it helps you through grief
it's
so
like
much
that wee
more.
bit of hope and a wee bit of faith. And
because that was me with my auntie. And as soon as I could flip my perspective on it and be like, actually no, because I cared for her when she got ill, I was like, yeah, she went too soon and in such a horrible way, but actually I got to spend like those last few months with her, and I'm so grateful for it. And now I've just flipped the perspective even more, and I'm just like, every time I see a butterfly, I'm like, oh, there she is. Like, every time, do you know what I mean? And just like, you can't. It's still hard. It's still really sad. It's still horrible.
Emotions involved.
There's still emotions involved. But instead of feeling that heaviness all the time, you can,
I think,
try and flip it.
That's where I became quite a spiritual person. So
same.
Oh, sorry, we're obviously going off.
I know we're going
off.
It's
quite a nice conversation. So I was brought up.
This is
Catholic.
what we always talk. This is our chat.
That's
anyway.
why we don't plan though.
I know. It's what people want to hear.
In a Catholic household, but you know, not strict Catholic. It's like in Glasgow, you're Catholic, you're Protestant, right? So I was Catholic, and you know, growing up, it was you done all the work for it. You know, you went to chapel and you done this and you done that. And as much as I am not a practicing Catholic, and I don't believe in that side, what I would say is positive about that experience is, I think that's made me more in touch with that wee spiritual side, because I can look at that. So there was a while I looked at the whole religious thing very negatively, being like, you know, fuck this and fuck that. And especially because some of the stuff is very fucking controversial, right? So very much, But if I then try and flip my perspective and be like, well, actually what that did teach me is a wee bit of faith and a wee bit of hope and a wee bit of belief in something else. And, you know, for example, if someone's going through a hard time, you say a wee prayer for them. So there's a lot of positivity in that. And I feel like I've carried that on to where I am in my life now. And you can obviously get that without growing up religious. But I do think that definitely played a big part. So now I would say every single day I do have spiritual practices that I do. And it's not praying to a God or Jesus floating a cloud. It's just my own wee thing. It's very personal. And I wouldn't ever try and like instill my beliefs onto anybody.
Same.
Apart from the stuff where I'm like, try this because it might make you feel better. So every day I'll just like to have a wee moment, just like give thanks to something, or you know, wish well thoughts to people, or just say, for example, when someone's sick, send prayers to them. And I just think that's a pure nice wee practice to then have in your life. And being like that then gives you that wee bit of hope when you are going through grief. You've got something else that you can kind of put a bit of belief into, as much as people might think it's woo woo or whatever, but to me it's just like a wee bit of hope and a wee bit of faith, and it can really help if you're going through something. Don't knock it till you try it.
Genuinely,
did you ever think that you'd be a spiritual girly?
Absolutely not.
No, so
absolutely not. But like you said, don't knock it till you try it, because it has. Yeah, you don't need to share it with anybody. Like, you just make it personal. It's a very personal thing, and it's not like, for me, it's not a woo woo thing. I don't think I do very woo woo things, but yeah, it's not a religious thing for me. No, it very much is a personal. Small moments, isn't it? Small moments, just finding. It really is just like finding gratitude and giving love out to people that need it. Yeah, and I think that's and actually asking for a bit of guidance. So that's when you ask for signs.
you be like, okay, give me a sign that this is the right thing that I'm doing here. Or it's that wee voice inside your head. It's like the weird things that happen. You go, right, surely that is not a coincidence. It's all those wee things that you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's got to mean something.
Yeah, it has. And I was saying this to you earlier, like Alicia and I are going to a spiritual event on Sunday, and I'm actually really looking forward to it, because I would say the last couple of months I've been right back down that path, because I did lose that for a while. When I was 28 and going through all that, that was my thing. And I kind of fell away. And as much as yoga is a spiritual practice in itself, sometimes you're just stretching.
But also I think when you're the teacher, it's just different.
Difficult.
It's hard to keep track of your own practices. And then when you're teaching, you
can easily lose it as well, which isn't great.
You're not getting really into the spiritual practice because you're focusing on teaching the class. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. That's it, because you're there to serve others.
Like I try now to get to the studio earlier to do my own practice, or just stay after to do my own practice. But sometimes life gets in the way and you can't fit it in.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it is different when you're the teacher, and I have really noticed that in the past year. It is really hard.
I think obviously that's what's happened to both of us then, because
we've lost.
I kind of wondered, I was like, why have I lost the spark for this? And
I'm still doing yoga all the time. I'm not doing the same.
Like you're not giving it 100%.
Yoga.
yeah.
I'm teaching it. So my students are like, the clients, they're getting it.
Yeah.
And they're having a really deep, they're coming away from the class.
Oh, that was great.
That was so good. And I'm like, I don't feel the same.
But equally though, how nice to share that.
Yeah.
It goes back to that question earlier, like about what kind of inspires you, and it's stuff like that. See, after a yoga class and people are like, fucking they did that, or that was amazing, and you're like,
I had it the other week when someone finished I finished a shavasana, and they came out of it and they're like, I saw colours, I saw this, and they're like I feel so inspired. And they were like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna write all this, and I was like, that is like
brilliant,
the best thing ever. That is like the best thing to ever, because sometimes I'll just go off, like in meditation, I'll sometimes just go off in a wee tangent.
Love it.
But then that one, I was like, I feel like this group needs.
You learn.
So I like wrote notes. I did like a thing, and then when she came out, she was like, I've got all it. And I was like,
so good. See, helping others find their spark. It's just unbelievable.
And like she's been through a lot of shit, and I knew that she needed.
So you're like so happy. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good. I love it.
Mate, how did we get here?
Right, we need to wrap it up. My interview. Oh my God.
Do you know what? That was gorgeous conversations.
Yeah.
I actually feel very happy after that. It was great.
It started as an interview, and then
I just ended up talking about death and everything.
I know.
Wow.
Oh God, sorry, gals.
Must be your interviewing skills. You're 10.
This is just what we're like, though. We just get.
See, when you get into it, though, you get
me and Paula. This is what we're like. All the other, just take away the mics.
Yeah,
this is what we're like.
Why?
We get into pure deep
conversations.
We love it.
Thought provoking.
That's why we started the podcast, because we're like, we got to share this.
Aye, great. You have took me on a journey in this episode.
If you've made it to the end.
By the way, I think they will. I think
I think they will.
Good chat.
I actually think quite a lot of the girls like it when we do this.
Oh, wow.
They love it. They love a tangent.
Do you know what? I feel great after that.
I do too.
That was good.
Really good.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was a therapy session.
That was a therapy session.
Man.
So actually, I hope that was a bit of therapy session for listeners.
Especially for the heartbroken girl. Do you know what, though? We've not really got into it that deep before.
But,
so this is the heartbreak episode. Asking for it, though. And I was a bit like, I want to help you, but also I'm not defined by a heartbreak.
I know.
But you asked the right question. A pivotal moment in your life.
I thought I'll ask that.
Oh,
I didn't want to ask you, tell me about your heartbreak.
Well,
because see, if I did though, I think you would have maybe just
it would have been different.
Closed off a bit.
Yeah,
more.
It would have just been a bit like, okay, this happened, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. And that is enough. I know, my friend.
But when it is something like, you're like, okay,
let's talk about it.
Aye. What a great time.
What a great time.
I've been watching that wee pigeon out there as well. And he's been having a great time. The sun is shining, guys, in sunny Glasgow. And there's a little pigeon on the trees. Look at him, he's having a great time. He's plucking flowers out that branch. Sorry if I just deafened you.
Just not used to this.
Guys, if anyone's asked for the sign of a pigeon pecking a branch,
then
that's
this
your
is
sign.
It.
Look at him go.
I doubt that's somebody's sign. A pigeon.
Could be.
It could be. I'm a bit scared of pigeons. I'm scared of birds.
They're the fancy ones who actually wood pigeons.
Fancy
pigeons. They are not the jakes that hang about and eat vomit. They like he's having a nice time.
They were all out yesterday in town.
Oh god, having a good time because it's sunny as well.
Aye. I was like, get me, get to fuck.
Right,
cannot.
Let's go off on another tangent
wrap
here.
It up because we will.
Next, we'll be talking about fucking seagulls stealing your pieces.
Right.
Wow.
Gals, thank you so much for listening. Well done for getting to the end. We cannot wait to get some guests on. This was very good practice.
Next week.
It's
so exciting.
Very exciting. I'm really, really excited. It's going to be really good.
It's going to be some great conversations.
I'm glad we did this because it puts us in their shoes.
Definitely.
That does put up. Yeah.
That's us, you know.
Because I think we only really had a snippet when we did the little radio interview with Rachel.
Yeah, yep.
But that was
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So this
is good practice.
In the hot seat.
Hot seat. And guys that are coming on,
myself.
you do not have to be nervous.
No, because look at what happens. It ends up just
I'm so excited for you guys to
me too
for the reveals. So stay tuned.
And thank you for listening to me ramble on. I hope someone's took some inspo for that or had a wee light bulb moment that we spoke 100%. About. So I really, really hope you have. And see if you have, please let me know. Like you said at the end of yours, like I fucking love to hear this. Just chat, and I love to
really
talk to other people and connect with other people. So
And remember to like,
share, subscribe.
Share, subscribe, because it feels so cringy and so icky, but it really helps.
It does.
It really helps, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah,
we really do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you for listening. Yeah.